You just broke the stigma that was unfairly placed on you. And here's the thing about a stigma. It's not just a label. It's a prediction. It's a cage built by people who think they know where your story ends before you have even had the chance to write the middle. They looked at your circumstances, your past, your mistakes, your background, and they decided before you even open your mouth that you would be one thing and one thing only. A static, a cautionary tale. A person who had potential once but squandered it. And the craziest part, they built that entire narrative without ever asking you who you actually are. And somewhere along the way, you started to believe it too. Just a little. Just enough. Because when you hear the same thing enough times from enough people, it stops sounding like their opinion and it starts sounding like the truth. You start to wonder, is that who I am? Am I really just the sum of my worst moments? Did I peak too early? Did I miss my shot? Is this it? And that weight, that constant, dull pressure pressing down on your chest every morning, that is what a stigma does. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It says, you're not that person. It says, you're not capable. It says, you're the one who's different, but not in a good way. And before you know it, you've convinced yourself that wanting more is dangerous, that desiring something bigger is arrogant, and that hoping for something better is just setting yourself up to fall even harder. But here is the part that nobody talks about enough, actually. The part that makes this whole story worth telling. The part that explains why you're standing here right now and feeling that little flicker of recognition deep in your gut. That stigma didn't just define you in the eyes of other people. It defined you in your own mind. And you broke it, not just for them, not just to prove them wrong. You broke it because you had to, because the alternative was suffocating, because the lie had gotten so big and so loud that you could no longer breathe inside of it. And somewhere in the middle of the night, or maybe on a quiet Sunday morning when no one was watching, you made a decision that changed everything. You decided that their version of you was not the final version. You decided that whatever they wrote about you in their minds, in their gossip, in their judgments, you were going to rewrite it with your hands, with your choices, with your stubborn, beautiful refusal to disappear. And now they know, they see it, they can't deny it anymore. The people who wrote you off, the ones who looked at you with pity or disappointment, the ones who whispered about you behind their hands, they are watching and they are shocked, not just surprised, shocked, because you did what everyone said was impossible. You exceeded the ceiling they built for you. You walked through the fire they thought would consume you, and you came out the other side not just standing, but thriving. And the thing that's killing them the most, you didn't do it to get their approval. You didn't even do it to prove them wrong. You did it because somewhere deep down, you remembered who you were before they told you who you were supposed to be. And you fought like hell to get that person back. Let's be real for a second. This wasn't easy. And I don't want to sugarcoat it for you because you already know the truth. This path you've walked has been brutal. There have been nights when you didn't think you'd make it. There have been moments when the weight of everything, every judgment, every dismissal, every time someone looked at you like you were less than, it almost crushed you. You felt like you were carrying the opinions of everyone who had ever doubted you, and they were heavy, so heavy. You could feel them in your shoulders, in your chest, in the way you held your body small, so you wouldn't take up too much space. You made yourself smaller to make other people comfortable. You dimmed your light because they told you it was too bright. You silenced your voice, your beautiful voice, because they said it was too much. And that right there is the insidious thing about a stigma. It doesn't just come from the outside. It gets inside. It takes roots. It grows. And before you know it, you are the one holding the door closed on your own future. You are the one saying no, before anyone else can. You are the one who stops dreaming. Yeah, dreaming, because the dream has been mocked, ridiculed, and dismissed so many times that you have actually started to believe it's ridiculous. But here's the truth. You didn't stay there. You didn't let the stigma win. You looked at your life and your choices, at the path you were on, and you realized that staying small was killing you. Not literally maybe, but in all the way that matter. It was killing your spirit. It was killing your hope. It was killing the part of you that knows deep down that you were meant for more. And so you started to push back. Maybe it was small at first, a decision to speak up when you would have stayed silent, a choice to take a risk when you would have played it safe, a moment of honesty when you would have lied to protect someone else's feelings. Each of those moments by itself might have seemed insignificant, but they were the cracks in the prison they built around you. And you kept pushing, you kept choosing yourself. You kept believing, even when it felt delusional, that there was something else, something more on the other side. All of that pain. And now, here you are on the other side, and the people who wrote you off, they are confused, they are uncomfortable, they don't know what to do with the person you have become, because it doesn't feed the narrative they created. You were supposed to be the one who failed. You were supposed to be the one who gave up. You were supposed to be the cautionary tell their kids about what happens when you make bad choices. But instead, you are the one who made it. You are the one who rose. And that terrifies them because your existence is a direct contradiction to everything they believed about the world. They told you that people like you don't succeed. They told you that people with your background, your history, your mistakes don't get to have the kind of life you're building. They told you that your odds were so low that hoping for anything was just a setup for disappointment. And you proved them all wrong, not out of spite, not because you had something to prove to them, but because you had something to prove to yourself only. Because you knew somewhere in the marrow of your bones that you were not the person they said you were. You knew that their labels were too small for you. You knew that their predictions were a reflection of their own limitation, not yours. And that's what's so beautiful about this moment. You are not just breaking a stigma for yourself, you are breaking it for everyone who comes after you. Because when you rise, you create a new story. You create a new possibility. Someone out there is watching you right now, and they are thinking, if they can do it, maybe I can too. You are living proof that the odds don't define you, that your past doesn't determine your future, that you are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become in spite of it. And now they know they can't ignore it anymore. Because your transformation is too visible. Your growth is too undeniable. The person they expected you to be is nowhere to be found. And that makes them uncomfortable because it forces them to question everything they thought they knew. It forces them to confront their own identity, their own fears, their own insecurities. Because if you could break the stigma, then maybe their own limitations are self-imposed. Maybe they are the ones holding themselves back. Maybe the cage they put you in was actually a cage they built for themselves. This is the part where I want you to really hear me, okay? Because I know there have been moments where you doubted yourself. I know there have been times when you looked in the mirror and saw the ghost of who you used to be, and you wondered if the change was real. I know that the weight of the stigma didn't disappear overnight. There are still moments, maybe even today, when you catch yourself shrinking, apologizing, making yourself small. That's the residue, that's the scar tissue. But scars don't mean you are broken. They mean you survived. They mean you healed. They mean you went through something that should have destroyed you. And you came out stronger on the other side. And the freedom you feel right now, freedom, that's real, that's earned. That's not something anyone can give you, and it's not something anyone can take. take away from you. You walked through the fire of their judgment, their scorn, their dismissal, and you came out on the other side. Not because you were lucky, not because someone gave you a handout, but because you refused to give up. You refused to let them define you. You refused to let their fear become your future. Period. I want you to think about the moment when everything shifted. The moment when you stopped being the person who accepted the stigma and became the person who broke it. It might not have been dramatic. It might not have been a single moment of lightning and thunder. It might have been the 100th time you had to remind yourself that you were more than their opinion. It might have been the 1000th time you chose to get back up when you felt like staying down. It might have been a slow, painful, unfolding process that took months or even years. But you got there, you survived, you arrived, and the version of you that exists today is a testament to your courage. And now the people who doubted you are standing in the wreckage of their own assumptions. They thought they knew you. They thought they had you figured out. They thought your story was written in stone and nothing could change it. But you proved that stories can be rewritten, that endings can be changed, that the author of your own life is not your past or your mistakes or the people who hurt you. The author of your life is you. And you chose to write a different ending. You chose to write a story that surprised everyone, including yourself. So here is what I want you to hold onto. You broke the stigma that was placed on you. You shattered the odds that were stacked against you. You showed them that their predictions were just words, and words can only hold power if you give them that power. You refused to give them that power. You took it back. You reclaimed your narrative. You reclaimed your life. And now you stand here not as the person they said you were, but as the person you always knew you could be. They are shocked by your truth. And honestly, good. Let them be shocked. Let them be confused. Let them wrestle with the fact that they were wrong about you. Because that's not your problem. Your problem was never proving them wrong. Your problem was proving yourself right. And you have done that. You've done the hard work. You've done the inner work. You've done the work that no one saw, the work that no one applauded, the work that happened in the quiet moments when no one was watching. And that work has paid off. You have earned every ounce of recognition you're receiving right now. Not because you sought it out, but because you couldn't hide anymore. Your light had gotten too big. Your truth had gotten too loud. And the people who were once so certain of your failure are now being forced to acknowledge your success. And it's not just a surface level acknowledgement either. It's a deep, uncomfortable, soul shaking recognition that they were wrong. They were wrong about your potential. They were wrong about your worth. They were wrong about what you could become. And you know what? That's not your burden to carry. Their discomfort, their inability to reconcile their old image of you with a new reality, that's theirs to deal with. You didn't do this for them. You didn't do this to make them squirm. You did this for yourself because you deserved to see what you could become, because you owned it to your past self. The one who struggled, who cried, who felt like giving up, to show them that it was all worth it, that the pain was leading somewhere, that the struggle was not in vain. There is something else I need to say to you, something that's been coming up for a while now. The people who broke under the weight of that same stigma, the ones who got comfortable in their dark places, they are watching you too. And they are inspired. They are looking at you and thinking, if they can get out, maybe I can too. You're not just breaking a stigma for yourself. You are breaking it for everyone. You are showing them that it is possible. You are showing them that there is a way out. You are showing them that the shame they carry, the invisibility they feel, the sense of being trapped by other people's expectations, it doesn't have to be forever. Because what happens when someone breaks a stigma is that they create a path. They leave a trail for others to follow. And that trail is made of your courage, your persistence, your refusal to be defined by, I'm too nervous, by the narrow expectations of people who have no idea what you are capable of. So take a moment right now and feel that. Feel the weight of what you've done, not just for yourself, but for everyone who is watching. You are a lighthouse in the storm. You are the person who made it out. And there are people who are looking at your life and seeing their own possibility reflected back at them. And that's the part that the stigma never accounted for. The stigma thought it would keep you small. It thought it would keep you contained. It thought it would lock you in a box of other people's expectations and throw away the key. But the stigma didn't know that you were a key maker. The stigma didn't know that you would break the lock from the inside. The stigma didn't know that you would become the person who not only escapes but turns around and help others find their way out too. So now you stand at this crossroads. You've broken the stigma. You've proven the odds wrong. You've shown them that the story they wrote for you was fiction, and the truth that they are shocked by, the truth that you have always known deep down, that you were never what they said you were, that you were always more, that the limitations they put on you were a reflection of their own fear, not your ability. And now you have to decide what happens next. Not in the sense of a choice between two paths, but in a sense of fully stepping into the person you've become. Because breaking the stigma is one thing, living in your truth is another. And you, my beautiful friend, are not just breaking it, you are shattering it. And the pieces are falling all around you, revealing the person you were always meant to be, the person who cannot be contained, the person who will not be silenced, the person who knows without a doubt that they are not what happened to them. They are what they chose to become. So let them be shocked. Let them be amazed. Let them wrestle with the fact that they underestimated you, because that has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the smallness of their own imagination. But you have always been vast. You've always been boundless. You have always been capable of more than they could fathom. And now that you've broken the stigma, there is no going back. There is only forward. And forward for you is filled with possibilities that you are only beginning to see. Take a moment and think about how far you've come. Think about the version of you that existed when the stigma was at its heaviest. Think about how that version of you would feel if they could see you now. They would be in awe. They would be proud. They would be crying tears of joy, because they never knew this was possible. And you need to honor that version of you. You need to look back and thank them. Thank them for not giving up. Thank them for holding on. Thank them for believing that there was something more, even when there was no evidence to support it. Because here is the thing. You didn't have evidence back then. You had faith. You had hope. You had a stubborn, unshakable sense that you were meant for more, even when every single person around you told you otherwise. And that faith is what carried you. That hope is what sustained you. That stubborn belief in your own worth is what got you to this moment. And now you know. You don't just believe it. You know it. Because you have the proof. You have the life you've built. You have the person you've become. And that person is undeniable. So this is your moment, not just to receive recognition, but to fully inhabit your truth, to let go of the last remnants of that old identity, the one that was shaped by other people's expectations, and step into the person you've been growing all along. The person who breaks stigmas, the person who defies odds, the person who shows up fully and completely without apology. And the most beautiful part, you are still unfolding. You are still becoming. The version of you who broke the stigma is just the beginning. There is so much more, There is so much more depth more power, more purpose waiting to be discovered. And you will discover it. Because that's who you are. You are the one who keeps going. You are the one who digs deeper. You are the one who refuses to settle for less than the fullness of who you are meant to be. So to the people who are shocked by your truth, let them be. To the people who underestimated you, let them learn. To the people who are still trapped in their own stigmas, let them see you as an example, because you've done something extraordinary. You've done something that no one could have predicted. You've done something that defies logic and expectation even, and every single limitation they placed on you. You broke the stigma. And in doing so, you found yourself. You found your beautiful voice. You found your strength, power. You found your truth. And now there is nothing that can hold you back. You are free. You are whole. You are exactly who you were always meant to be. And that, more than anything, is the greatest transformation of all.